Mr. Ramos, good to see you, sir. I don't know any other way to put this.
Great to be here, Sean.
I have watched your coverage, and I've listened to the things you say. You throw around this word racism with a sense of being so casual I find offensive. And on numerous occasions I've noticed you take what Donald Trump said out of context, which I think is fundamentally unfair, shows that you're not objective in your own opinion, although I think you'd like to portray yourself as such. And when you go out there and says that he wants to ban 1.5 billion people from coming into the United States because of their religion, or when you said that he's calling all Mexicans criminals and murderers and rapists, that is a false characterization on your part. Why do you do that? Why don't you report it honestly and then give your opinion?
I'm simply reporting what Donald Trump has been saying.
That's not true.
And when he says that Mexican immigrants, are criminals, drug traffickers, and rapists, he's absolutely wrong. I'm a Mexican immigrant. I know for sure. The fact is that the vast majority of immigrants in this country are not criminals. Not rapists, and he knows that.
Jorge, wait a minute. What you're saying,
immigrants are less likely to be criminals in this country.
I've been down to the Mexican border.
That's a fact. The number of immigrants in this country has absolutely nothing to do with the number of crimes happening in the United States.
Excuse me. I sat through an intelligence briefing on the border with our border officials and Governor Rick Perry, and they showed the numbers, and they put up on the screen over an 8-year period that there were 642,000 crimes committed by illegal immigrants against Texans, including rape and murder. That does not talk about all Mexicans, but you characterize it as Donald Trump said all people, and that's false, sir. That's not true.
No, Donald Trump said that Mexican immigrants were criminals, rapists, and drug traffickers, and that's absolutely wrong. Now, let me tell you, you are talking about some immigrants who committed crimes, and I'm not here to defend any criminals. I'm not here to defend any criminals. However, let me just give you, Sean, let me give you some numbers. In the last 25 years, the number of undocumented immigrants grew from 3.5 million to 11 million. We agree on that, right? About 11 million people. At the same time, according to the FBI, violent crimes decreased 48%. So therefore, the more immigrants that you have, the less crime that you have in the United States. That's a fact.
Insanity. FBI. Your math is insane.
Do you want to fight that? That's a fact.
Jorge, listen, I just told you.
Well, then talk to the FBI.
I just told you, I have been down to the border.
The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Jorge, I have been down to the border more than any other reporter I know. I have seen gang members arrested. I've been in drug warehouses that are massive. Let me finish. Targeting our children. I've seen the tunnels that have been dug. I've been in every capacity you can imagine. 642,000 crimes committed against Texans alone in an 8-year period by illegal immigrants, not undocumented, illegal, that don't respect our law and sovereignty. You take Trump's comments out of context. He said a temporary ban of Muslims because he was listening to James Clapper and James Comey and General John Allen, who said ISIS would infiltrate the refugee population. You don't tell the whole story. Why not?
Well, that hasn't happened. And we cannot blame immigrants here for what happened in Belgium. That's on one hand. And then on the other hand, you honestly, Sean, cannot blame all immigrants for what some of them did.
I mean, are you going to blame every single
U.S. citizen for what happened in Sandy Hook?
You're
talking about Donald Trump.
You're talking about apples and oranges.
You can be much more challenging with Donald Trump, Sean, and you haven't
excuse me, I don't need lectures from you because you act like a sanctimonious, objective reporter, and you've got an agenda. You support open borders, you support illegal immigration, and you seem to be willing to risk the lives of Americans in the process.
And I'm being tough on Republicans.
Well, the point is, I got to tell you something.
I'm just being completely independent. Let me tell you something.
You're not independent.
I saw your forum on March the 9th.
You don't support the rule of law in America.
I'm completely independent. I've been tough on Donald Trump. I've been tough on Donald Trump, and I've been tough on Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Let me tell you something. I saw your forum on March 9th in North Carolina. You had an hour with Donald Trump. More than 30 questions and comments. Not even once Did you challenge Donald Trump on the largest mass deportations, on banning 1.5
I've asked him that question in prior interviews. If you watch my show regularly, you would have seen that I've asked that question.
Even criticizing him for his sexist remarks on women.
You're missing the point.
You didn't even ask for an apology for your colleague, Megyn Kelly.
I don't need your lectures. Thank you very much.
You
don't care about the 642,000 Texans. You're taking, wait a minute, you're taking his comments out of context. You're taking his comments out of context. You're calling him racist. You're calling him bigoted. And you totally misrepresent what he said. And you think you're the superior reporter? I don't really need lectures from you, Jorge Ramos.
I haven't called. This is what I've said. I don't know what's in his heart, but I know exactly what's coming out of his mouth. And what he's saying about Mexican immigrants, what he's saying about Muslims, and what he's saying about women is completely unacceptable, and he's absolutely wrong on that. And as journalists,
I have a last question.
And as journalists, we have to confront those who are in power, and that's our responsibility, Sean. And I think I cannot talk to him. You can talk to him, and you can be much tougher on him.
I have a last question. Is it true that people that have entered this country illegally and not respected our laws and sovereignty, have people come over from the border, and have they committed rape? Have they committed murder? Have they committed crimes against Americans? And do you doubt what the law enforcement and Border Patrol told me about Texas alone in an 8-year period, 642,000 crimes? Is that true that those crimes are happening? Do you recognize that truth or not?
I'm not here to defend any criminals. I'm sure that some immigrants commit crimes.
Murder?
But the vast majority of immigrants in the United States are not criminals,
You're not answering my question.
Or drug traffickers.
Do some murder?
Yes, that has happened. And I cannot even think
rape?
of the pain that some of the American families... Absolutely, it's happening. But then I cannot blame the whole immigrant population for what some of them have done the same way. We cannot blame all U.S. citizens for what some of them have done, what happened in Oklahoma or San Bernardino.
And he said he never blamed all, number one.
Well,
number two,
listen exactly to his words.
Wait a minute. He said a temporary ban on Muslims because our Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, our FBI Director, Comey, and our special envoy to defeat ISIS
Muslims simply because they're Muslims.
All said that ISIS will infiltrate the refugee population. Do you think we should gamble with the lives of Americans, or would you support a temporary ban until we can absolutely vet them 100%?
Do you want to make discrimination official? I mean, do you want to be discriminated simply because of your religion? That's completely un-American.
Are you going to answer that question? Should we have a temporary ban and listen to our intelligence officials or not?
Of course not. Of course not. Because here in the United States,
you're going to gamble with the lives of Americans?
Of course not. Homegrown terrorism.
You're going to gamble with the lives of Americans?
We cannot blame immigrants. We cannot.
I'm not willing to do that.
No, we're not gambling.
I'm not willing to gamble with the lives of one American.
I am completely convinced that this country can defend itself the way we're doing it right now.
And we're told by our intelligence. You should not blame immigrants for all the problems that we have here. And you cannot blame immigrants for what's happening right now in Europe. We are told by our intelligence community that ISIS will infiltrate the refugee population, okay, just like they did in Paris. Are you willing to gamble with the lives of the American people? I'm not.
No, are you willing to change the nature and the essence of the United States, the tolerance, the acceptance? I'm sure the Hannity family came from somewhere else.
They came from Ireland.
I'm sure they came from Ireland
legally.
And your family was generously helped when they came here. At the turn of the last
century.
Yes, and I came here legally
$10 in their pocket.
I came here legally too. And you know why? If we're talking about undocumented immigrants, you know why they are here?
All right, I support legal immigration.
Millions of us benefit from them.
I support legal immigration
of undocumented immigrants
from Mexico, El Salvador, Nicaragua, all over the world. Just come in legally so we can vet you and make sure that you want to be a part of our family and not an enemy of the American people. That's fair. Is that not fair?
They are here because we benefit from their work and because we are hiring them.
No, they're here, but they don't respect our laws and sovereignty.
It is impossible to deport 11 million people from this country.
I got to leave.
It is impossible to deport 11 million.
You got to think twice about throwing that racist word around. And if you're going to quote me or quote Trump or quote anybody, please do it accurately in the future before you lecture us on how to do journalism.
Well, I had the transcript of your.
That's one interview.
With Donald Trump.
Go back and look at all my other interviews. I've asked him about those comments numerous times.
1 hour, Sean. You had one hour with him.
But I don't repeat old interviews. I've done 15 interviews with him. I don't need lectures from you when you misquote him. I don't need lectures from you when you misquote candidates.
Listen to this.
You misquoted him on purpose, and you add your opinion that he's a racist.
Exactly the same soundbites that you're using. And as journalists, we have to question those who are in power and those who are seeking power.
You'll get the last word. Thank you.